While it is possible to simply jump on a board, climb on anything and make improvements, it is worth considering that there's kind of specific movements, styles of problems that can really maximize the tool that you've got. And while it may seem really simple, like just grab some holds and pull on them, there is quite a lot you can think about with a board and how to actually really make the most out of it and set specific problems and styles and holds to really benefit you when it comes to climbing on rock. So for me and my goals, it makes sense to actually replicate movements and problems that I'm going to find outdoors. So I'll take a look at some of the boulder problems in the world that I most want to do, and then I'll set problems or moves of a similar style on similar holes. What this does is it really just makes things as specific as possible, but also hard boulders generally tend to have the same things in common. A lot of them have small holes, a lot of them have big moves, a lot of them have powerful moves. So if you're good in these main kind of core styles of problems, then the chances are you're going to be able to be just turning up to problems and having a much better chance because you've got those core range of physical and finger kind of strengths. So as an example, on this board, I've set one problem that kind of improves my strength on undercuts. 10 points if you can actually work out what route or problem this reminds you of in the comments. Sometimes I'll repeat the problem maybe 2 or 3 times in a session if I know I'm going to be climbing on undercuts in the near future, or if I just feel like at the moment I'm not especially tuned up on them. I'll kind of rotate it in and out of the sessions that I'm doing. So in terms of these actual movement patterns that are kind of useful for lots of different types of problems, I'm just going to name 4. There's probably quite a few more, but these are ones that I think are maybe the most useful. So tension moves. So moves where you're going to move to a hold and your foot has to stay on. If your foot doesn't stay on, you're not sticking the move. So this just forces your brain and your body to remember to engage and keep that foot on. So keeping your feet on outside is one of the most important things. So setting those tension moves where your feet can't come off is really useful. Another kind of movement that's really prevalent outdoors, especially on some harder climbs, is shouldery wide positions, or sometimes kind of narrow shouldery positions. Example of a problem like this would be something like Jerry's problem at Sheep Pen in North Wales, or armed response in Rocklands in South Africa, these kind of intense shouldery positions. Another one I'd say is swing holding. So a lot of times it's the opposite from tension. Sometimes you do a move where you know your feet are going to have to come off and you're going to have to hold a swing. So set problems that replicate that. Set problems where you have to swing and you have to hold the swing and you have to get your feet back on quickly. This kind of movement that I would suggest looking at is movements that focus more on the biceps. So whether that's undercuts or side pulls that you have to pull in tight to your body and things like that. Those again are pretty prevalent outside. So the last main movement type I'd want to think about is compression climbing. So again, just set problems that are wide or set problems that you have to squeeze inwards and compress holds together. Again, there's a lot of these outside. They're worth practicing. And then to me, what comes off that a little bit is positions. So a lot of times you won't be able to actually dynamically move through to a hold, or it's much easier or more controlled to do the move slowly if maybe you reach into like a poor hold and you can't do that quickly. Static strength you can have in, again, a different array of positions. Some of the main positions I would say you want that static strength in. Wide positions. Again, you've got these shouldery positions, so where you've got to lock a hold slowly and move to another one. You've got to be strong a lot of the time statically in an undercut or a bicep intensive position. And a lot of the time you've got to be strong strung out, where your feet are way below you and you've got to reach out more or less to your full extension to reach a hold. These are all really useful general movements and positions that if you set problems around, you can't go far wrong really. Obviously with setting these problems, it's worth thinking about how many moves. Obviously some of the time you're limited by the height or the length of the board that you've got. If you can have a range of problems, some with a few moves, maybe 5 moves, some up to maybe 10 or 12 moves, that's perfect. You've got a nice range. Sometimes you can focus on the more explosive, powerful things that are short and just have a few moves. Other times it's nice to get a bit of mileage in and do some longer problems. In the next video, I'll probably talk about how to actually structure a session. So what problems I would choose to do, why I would choose to put certain problems together, what I would do on a specific day, things like that. So if you're interested, have a look at the next one. It shouldn't be too long. And cheers. Thanks.